Hello and welcome to our podcast. If you've ever felt lonely, even when surrounded by people or connected through social media, you're not alone. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. Today, we're exploring a modern paradox. How can we live in the most connected era in human history and yet feel more isolated than ever?
That's the big question. We'll break it down. Why loneliness is so common, how social media affects our relationships, and most importantly, how to build deeper, more meaningful connections.
And as always, we'll introduce useful English expressions to help you talk about this topic in everyday conversations. So, grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in.
Section 1. Understanding loneliness.
Mark, let's start with a basic question. What is loneliness? A lot of people think it just means being alone, but it's more than that, right?
Exactly. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. It's about feeling disconnected, like no one truly sees or understands you. That's why you can feel lonely even in a crowd.
Yes. And that brings us to our first key expression, reach out. When you reach out to someone, you make an effort to connect, to check in, to show you care. But the problem is, many people don't reach out because they assume others are too busy or won't respond.
Right. And there's another challenge. Shallow connections. We interact with so many people online, but how many of those relationships are truly meaningful? We might send quick messages, react to posts, or scroll through updates. But do we actually have deep conversations?
That's the big question. We'll break it down. Why loneliness is so common, how social media affects our relationships, and most importantly, how to build deeper, more meaningful connections.
Exactly. And let's not forget another problem. Comparison. People look at social media and think, wow, everyone else is having fun, traveling, and living their best life. Why don't I have that?
And here's the thing, most people only share the highlights of their life, not the full picture. So even if someone looks happy online, they might also be feeling lonely.
That's a powerful point. So, loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about feeling like you don't have real, deep connections. And now the question is, how do we fix it?
Section 2. How to build meaningful connections.
Let's start with something simple. Be present. That means truly engaging in conversations, putting away distractions, and listening to others.
I love that. And that brings us to our next key phrase, build relationships. Building relationships isn't something that happens instantly. It requires time, effort, and consistency.
Yes, and one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting for others to take the first step. That's why it's important to make the first move. This means reaching out first, whether it's starting a conversation, inviting someone for coffee, or just checking in.
That's a great tip. I remember feeling lonely when I moved to a new city. I kept hoping someone would invite me to hang out, but nothing happened. Then I decided to make the first move. I invited a colleague for lunch, joined a club, and little by little, I built friendships.
That's such a good example, and that's another tip. Find common ground. This means looking for shared interests to connect with others. It could be a hobby, a favorite book, or even a similar life experience.
Right. And sometimes, it means stepping out of your comfort zone. If you keep waiting for friendships to happen naturally, you might wait forever. You have to put yourself in situations where connections can grow.
And here's a mindset shift. Don't focus on getting friendships, focus on giving. Be the kind of friend you wish you had. Listen, support, and be there for others. When you do that, strong relationships naturally form.
That's such a powerful point. Instead of thinking, why doesn't anyone reach out to me? Try thinking, who can I reach out to today?
Section 3. Overcoming the fear of rejection.
Now, let's talk about something that stops a lot of people from reaching out, fear of rejection. Have you ever felt that, Mark?
Oh, definitely. Nobody likes the feeling of being ignored or turned down. But here's the thing. Rejection isn't always personal. Sometimes people are just busy or they're dealing with their own struggles.
Exactly. That's why we need to put ourselves out there. This means taking a risk, being open, and giving people the chance to connect with us.
And here's another mindset shift. Think of making friends like planting seeds. Not every seed will grow, but the more you plant, the more chances you have of building real friendships.
I love that. And even if some people don't respond, that doesn't mean you should stop trying. Keep reaching out, keep making the first move, and eventually you'll find your people.
Conclusion. Final thoughts and English review.
So, what's the big lesson from today's episode?
I'd say this: loneliness is a common experience, but it's not a permanent one. We all have the power to build meaningful connections. It just takes effort, courage, and being intentional about how we interact with others.
Absolutely. And today, we learned some great English expressions. Reach out, form bonds, build relationships, make the first move, find common ground, and put yourself out there. Try using them in your conversations.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who might need it. Remember, you're not alone. There are people out there